Hey humans, Coach Nate here with another mindful focus. This post reads, "Don't blame a clown for acting the clown. Ask yourself why you keep going to the circus." It, it, it causes a chuckle at first read, but as we then begin to dissect it, uh, have you found yourself ever struggling with thoughts of why does this keep happening to me? Or why do they keep doing that? As human beings, we are creatures of habit. We find comfort and solace in familiarity, even when it's unhealthy for us. If we're familiar with an uncomfortable situation, we may tend to gravitate towards that uncomfortableness, even though it's not fun, because we know it, rather than to something unknown to us, unfamiliar to us, with potentially fearing more discomfort. And that other area path could be even more healthy. We settle in. It's a familiar pain. I know it's not going to be any worse, so I'll just accept it and embrace it. When we come to understand that we have zero control over the behaviors of others, we cannot change another human being, ever. We may be able to train animals and pets, cannot change another human being. We are then moving towards a better place that will serve us. We may take that a step further and then understand that often their behavior is influenced by their life expectations, worldview, family constellation. In other words, part genetic, part environmental, what they experienced growing up as a child, different traumas, name it, different experiences. Trauma can be relative. That help shape who they are, their views about themselves, self-confidence, self-esteem. And through those human interactions and engagements, and it is often there's some toxicity there. Sometimes it may not be toxicity. Sometimes it's simply they were coddled and not shown that there's some bad actors. There's some people that don't behave well. And then when those folks who had a fairly normal, and that's a really relative term, but had a upbringing that didn't have mass trauma, toxicity, things that deeply negatively impacted them, they don't think there's bad people out there. And then they assume that everybody is like them, has that same mindset, care, compassion, and concern, honesty, integrity, kindness. Did I mention kindness? And then are surprised when the other individuals don't behave in a way that they had expected. There's your circus. The impact on you, either from people who come from very challenging backgrounds or running into one of them. So in terms of let go, live now, win, how do we deal with this? How do we stop going to the circus? That's crucial. How do we stop going and seeing the flying monkeys? First, accept that people will only change when they want to. A quote from my book: "When the pain of the present becomes greater than the fear of the future, that is when real change begins to take place." We cannot guilt, goad, prod, push, demand, insist that someone change. They may give the appearance, but it's going to be short-lived unless it is something they have the will and the desire to do. and the motivation for themselves, not for you. It's an inside job, change is. So when we accept that, we can influence, we cannot change. People are going to be who they are and allow them to be that. Then that begins to shift the focus away from what they are doing and on to what you can do. When we accept that people are the way they are and will only change when they want to, it shifts the focus away from what they are doing, and to what you can do. That is a massive shift. Embrace that. Sit with that. Because that's what we really should be focusing on, ourselves. That is a shift from unhealthy to healthy for us. A crucial shift for our mental health and well-being. We have no obligation to sit through the circus performance. Should you find yourself accidentally in the tent, you don't have to stay for the entire performance. Leave. Leave mentally, leave physically. However you can detach from the flying monkeys and all of that stuff that's going on in the crazy tent. No one requires you to participate, to be there. You don't get a participation trophy, but if you stay too long, you could end up with some scars, lifelong wounds that are perpetually and repeatedly wounded when you are trying to heal them. We have full control over setting the boundaries to stop going to the circus. We can choose not to go. And with that choice, now we're choosing to not be affected by the flying monkeys. There's a saying. It's one of the mottos I live by. Not my monkeys, not my circus. When the drama arises, when something comes up, when something occurs, I have to say to myself, not my monkeys, not my circus. I am not going to emotionally, psychologically, and certainly not physically involve any of my energy, time, efforts, resources, thoughts into that chaos. That's a boundary that protects me. It is not about them, the circus, don't care. What I care about is my mental health and well-being. And no one is going to care about that more than me. That's my first responsibility. Shifting the focus, not on what they're doing, but on what you can do. So the next time you find yourself headed to, driving by, morbid curiosity, what's that? Or even sitting in the front row in the tent, say to yourself, not my monkeys, not my circus. Just sharing some insights with you. Feel free to apply it or toss it. Both of those answers can be the correct answer. Which one? Totally depends on you. Only you are able to make that determination for yourself. If this resonates with you, please feel free to give a like and a follow so you know when I post content like this and are notified. If you know somebody that you feel could benefit from this, please go ahead and share that with them. But by all means, always remember to let go, live now, and win.